There are three objectives in this video. First, to recall the order of the electromagnetic wave spectrum in increasing frequency. Secondly, to recall the frequency of each electromagnetic wave spectrum. Thirdly, to derive the wavelength of each electromagnetic wave spectrum. By addressing these three objectives, the video aims to provide a comprehensive recall of the order, frequency, and wavelength of each type of electromagnetic wave. This approach can be particularly helpful for students taking exams or pursuing physics in higher studies. Let us begin with the first objective. Shown here is the electromagnetic spectrum. The wave with the lowest frequency is on the top. The highest frequency is at the bottom. The spectrum has been arranged from top to bottom with the lowest frequency at the top and highest frequency at the bottom. Attempting to memorize and recall radio wave, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray and gamma ray will take a long time, but it is possible. Let us cut short the process. Let us take the first alphabet of each wave and line them up from top to bottom. We now have Ronald McDonald is very ugly, exclaimed Grandma. Now you have it, the order of the electromagnetic wave spectrum in order of increasing frequency. How about recalling the frequency of each wave? Please note that you are not required to memorize the exact frequency of each wave. But it helps a lot to recall the approximate frequency. Firstly, recall the lowest frequency, 10 to the power of 8 Hz. This is the frequency of radio waves. Next, microwave, 10 to the power of 10 Hz. Infrared, 10 to the power of 12 Hz. Visible light, 10 to the power of 14 Hz. Ultraviolet, 10 to the power of 16 Hz. X-rays, 10 to the power of 18 Hz. Gamma rays, 10 to the power of 20 Hz. What do you notice so far? The power increases by 2 for the next wave as you descend the order of electromagnetic wave spectrum. That is how you recall the approximate frequency. Once you remember the sequence of the electromagnetic wave spectrum in increasing frequency, and all you have to do is recall that the frequency of radio waves is 10 to the power of 8 Hz, then it will be easy to estimate the frequency of the remaining waves in the electromagnetic wave spectrum. At this point, how do we recall the wavelength of the electromagnetic wave spectrum? Recall in the earlier chapter, we have covered the wave equation. And we also know that the speed of the electromagnetic wave spectrum is 3 times 10 to the power of 8 meters per second. Since we can estimate the frequency, we can use the wave equation to estimate the wavelength using V equals f lambda, divide both sides of the equation by f, we can get lambda. From here, we can see that when speed of the electromagnetic wave spectrum is constant, and when its frequency increases, the wavelength decreases. To summarize, recall the phrase Ronald McDonald is very ugly, exclaimed Grandma can be useful to help you remember the order of the electromagnetic wave spectrum in increasing frequency. Recall the approximate frequency of each wave in the electromagnetic wave spectrum by only remembering the frequency of the radio waves. The rest of the frequencies can be estimated. The wavelengths can then be derived by applying the wave equation.